Hello, wrestling fans and YouTubers. This is Old School Ted 1 with this week's NXT review, the final NXT review for Season 1. First off, congratulations to Wade Barrett. He won, and out of the final four guys, he should have won. The only one who could really upset him, in my opinion, would have been Heath Slater. However, no Heath Slater because he was eliminated last week. I'm not even the biggest Heath Slater fan, but he's the only one who really brought stuff to the table that could have allowed him to eliminate Wade Barrett. But we start with the pros. We start with the eliminated wrestlers sitting at ringside looking rather sullen, to be honest. And then we had the final three guys come out. They were told they're going to be in a fatal three-way match. I got kind of excited, said, okay, this will be good. And it wasn't a bad match. We still have a problem with Otunga wrestling, just in the ring. I've been pretty harsh on Otunga, but he's got a lot of tools that would really help him in the WWE. He can talk on the mic. He's got a fair amount of charisma. He's got those things that some wrestlers just never have had. What he lacks is his movement in the ring, his the way that he currently wrestles. He's had some good, crisp, snappy moves, but it just doesn't come off as fluid. I guess that's one way to look at it. He's not a very fluid wrestler. He's very choppy, and even with that choppiness, I could forgive it if he didn't have that streak of sloppiness. So, watching this match, he gets eliminated first after the 450 splash, after which Barrett yanks Justin Gabrial out and gets the pinfall for himself. And so then we have the two of them in there. Goes back and forth. Good overall movement. End comes when Barrett's knocked down. Gabriel goes up top. Does the splash except lands on the knees. It actually looked like it hurt. Barrett didn't go for his finisher. Just rolled him up into a small package straight off the knees. They didn't break contact. That was that. Now at this point, there's still roughly half hour left in the show. So what have they been doing when they haven't been doing the wrestling and a little bit of the promoing? Well, promoing season 2. See, I was wondering what I was going to do with NXT being over, and I guess I'll do another one next week. And they showed some of the rookies who are going to be with some of the pros, and I've heard some of the guys. I've heard of Eli Cottonwood. I've heard of Henning, who's going by another name, an Irish-sounding name or Scottish-sounding, like McIntyre or something, or can't remember. Caval, better known as Low Key with Lay Cool, which could be really, really good. But let me move on. I'll talk about that in a minute. Where we ended up, was we had an elimination. They had the pros poll, and they had all the pros talk, and they eliminated Justin Gabriel over David Otunga. It just shows you the amount of it factor the WWE tends to assign and need for wrestlers. And not that Justin Gabriel was the best wrestler in the world, but he was much, much more talented than David Otunga. So he's eliminated, and he doesn't look thrilled. Oh, they did ask the eliminated rookies who they thought should go home, and most of them said that Barrett should win, and they were right. So we ended up with Barrett and Otunga sort of in a talk-off, if you will, each one explaining why the other one shouldn't get it. Otunga is good on the mic. Barrett's got his character down, though, which really allowed him to sort of hang in there. He made fun of his wrestling ability. He made fun of Barrett, made fun of Otunga, and came off really well as a heel. So you ended up having the final vote. Before they could get that, you had Miz interrupt saying he's got a good rookie this time and he'll be back in it. More interruptions, which it just kind of highlights I'll talk about in a second. And then Barrett wins. Yes. No surprise, he should have won. And it leads to the next question, is what's going to happen to this first class of NXT? And I may be making a video today or tomorrow about that. Just sort of what the future holds. And we'll know more, I think, next Tuesday. Believe it or not. I think next NXT we'll see some more. Now, what we didn't see in this program last night was any real interaction between Cole, Miz, and Daniel Bryan, other than Miz making fun of the fact that he had a guy who quits, and or he didn't really try or didn't really know how to understand him. It came off a bit dry, to be honest. Well, it came off okay, but funny enough, Cole clapping for Miz kind of helped, but nothing else. So that didn't get that across. The show as a whole was really dry. It lacked a lot. I was expecting at least more than one wrestling match. Instead, we got essentially a promo show for the next NXT. And in a way, this epitomizes the whole NXT experience because you had a lot of what I call missed opportunities. When you had Regal get up to start to congratulate Jericho, and you had sort of a mini mosh going on up there where people were yelling at people and CM Punk stomping off and everything like that, that kind of demonstrates the opportunities that were missed. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, what did NXT do? Let's ask that question. Did it, at the very beginning, I thought it would get Daniel Bryan across. No, it didn't get Daniel Bryan across. Or even over. He's on that precipice right now, but he's going to have to do that on another show. He's going to have to do that on Raw more than likely. If he's back on NXT next week, that's not a good sign. Trust me, that's not a good sign if he's on NXT. He needs to get over, and I'm kind of worried that they'll wait till Money in the Bank, which is the pay-per-view after Fatal 4-Way, to get him a contract. No, just say no, WWE. Get him a contract and get him in there right now. He can really help. But you had the missed opportunity with the Darren Young CM Punk storyline. That was going along swimmingly, and then it just kind of faded. You had the Skip Sheffield with William Regal. That was really potentially good. Nothing was really done with it. The Tarver stopped talking about snapping. Nothing. The Chris Jericho and Heath Slater sort of animosity. That pretty much turned into nothing. You had the money aspect that Barrett talked about. He didn't really press too much on that, though he mentions it from time to time. So you had a lot of these opportunities that just fell by the wayside. Otunga, he could have done a lot more. You could have ran. A lot of wrestling fans could tell you storylines. You could have Darren Young joining the Straight Edge Society, getting to keep his hair, and then when CM Punk lost his hair, forcing him to shave it because he lost the show. He was eliminated from the show. That would get another member on the Straight Edge Society, and also get Darren Young some experience under a big name guy like CM Punk, who is a big name guy right now. You could have done Daniel Bryan against Miz a lot earlier. There's just so many ways they could have done Daniel Bryan versus Miz, and I'll get more into that in the Daniel Bryan Danielson overview review, which I'll do probably after this video. It's just kind of sad. It really is kind of sad that NXT had all this opportunity, and instead they couldn't figure out which end was up. Now I'm hoping they straighten things out for the next NXT, because they're talking about having a 50% of the vote coming from the fans. That wouldn't work this time because Daniel Bryan would have won. And for whatever reason, I think because of his independent background, the WWE didn't want that. Okay, so they didn't get that. Right. So now, instead, they're going to have Caval, who will get a fair amount of indie support, I believe. And we'll have to see how that turns out. But what's going to happen in the future? I may have sort of a look into the future sort of thing on NXT for this class of the first season in the next couple of days. I'm just going to think about that. But NXT on a scale of 1 to 10, I got to give it a 5. Because it didn't ever really live up to those moments. And the moments it did live up to were kind of segments, not matches. Segments such as Daniel Bryan and Michael Cole. Segments such as CM Punk with Darren Young. I mean, there were moments that were segments. Well, I just hope that the next one's season 2's better, and I hope they resolve some of the outstanding storylines right now. But until next time, Old School Ted 1, take it easy, all.